WJJ, brought to you by Deary Brothers Ford. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, Mike's E-Keys for Cars, Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip, Supple's Building and Remodeling, 800 Rose and Hawkeye Courier, the Midtown Family Restaurants, Harty and Stocker Jewelers in downtown Iowa City, Diamond Dream Sports Academy, Premier Automotive in North Liberty, Dirk Sterner Taxidermy, the Ox Yoke Inn in the Amanas, Streets Maintenance, Big Dog Tech Solutions, and Dr. Lance Forbes at Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. Good morning, everyone. Tom Suter, Pat Harty here to talk Hawkeye sports.
And good morning to you, Mr. Hunter.
How is everything?
Everything is as it should be in the universe, they say.
Did you get home through the snowstorm, or did you get stuck in traffic? Or?
I was able to make it home, put the chains on my car.
There you go. Yep.
So the question on everyone's mind is about the weather next Friday.
Yes.
For the Iowa-Nebraska game. And this is what WeatherBug says today. And
okay.
It's pretty consistent with what it's been.
Okay.
A high of 29 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
A low of 18.
That is exactly what I have on my phone.
Okay, and a different service.
Different service.
And winds will be during the game, about 6 miles per hour from the northwest.
Okay. So wind will not be a factor. It'll just be cold.
It'll be cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, it's late November in Iowa, and that's why the Big Ten had a policy for no night games in November. We all remember it, and it was a good policy.
Well, it'll be the last night game in November for the Big Ten. Is there a Saturday night night game in Big Ten?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. Oh, I can look. Let's see. Saturday, November. Well, let's see. That's this Saturday, November 23rd. There are USC at UCLA, but that's out west.
Yeah.
Iowa State plays Utah, and at least this week, the answer is no.
Okay.
But it would be wise if there weren't any. But wisdom is not the answer these days. It's television, television and dollars.
That's what Coach Ferentz said on Tuesday. It's the answer to everything.
Yeah.
TV.
Unfortunately, it's TV and dollar signs. But it's not new, but it's getting more so. Morning, Pat.
Good morning.
How's your world?
All right.
Okay.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, good.
Looks like 55 on Saturday for College Park, Maryland.
I wish I were there then.
Yeah. No rain in the forecast.
Good.
Partly sunny skies. Yeah,
good.
That's all right.
It is all right.
Yeah.
So.
And hopefully we'll have some people playing quarterback for us.
There's been no formal announcement who will be the number one quarterback.
He sort of said it was going to be Jackson Stratton.
But he left wiggle room.
Yeah.
A lot of wiggle
room.
He
did.
He said
it right away, right after he said it, he left wiggle room,
Yep.
which, I mean, I've already had people say that Cade has quit on the team.
Yep.
I mean,
but I don't know that.
It's amazing how many people on the outside know what's going on the inside.
It sure is.
And so often they turn out to be wrong. But then they just move on to the next thing. It is weird. I don't know why he's been healthy for almost 2 weeks. We know that because they told us.
Yes.
And he can't beat out whether he was playing. Okay, let's just not even mention anymore. I mean, because I had a guy say to me he was not ever practicing at linebacker. Well, Iowa confirmed it to me that he was.
Okay.
And you've read it all over the place. Mm-hmm. I mean, Iowa said there was time where he was at linebacker.
There was a time.
Yes.
Yes.
But even if he wasn't at linebacker, it's still not a good look that the guy you invested all this money and resources and time and attention to in the portal for 2 years now all of a sudden can't play over your walk-on fourth-team quarterback. It's just not a good look.
No, it isn't. So does that lend any credence to the rumor that he's just basically quit on the team?
Well, that's a rumor that started on some podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just say, Leichtow and Doctorman,
yes.
Basically, I haven't heard it, but Somebody told me they basically stopped just short of saying he quit on the team. But they left wiggle room. I didn't listen to it, but they left wiggle rooms because nothing's been confirmed. Mm-hmm. But it's either one of two things. If this Kirk has either lost faith in McNamara, or McNamara has lost faith in himself, and they know that. But nobody knows for sure. All this stuff is just speculation.
Those could both be true,
and they both could be true. Okay, but if that's the case, why did Kirk stick with McNamara for so long? What happened since the concussion where everything just changed? I mean, it just doesn't look good. It looks like they're just grasping for straws now. I mean, how do you go from sticking saying gives us the best chance to win, after all these lousy performances, now all of a sudden he's healthy, but God, I mean, that's what's happened. Yeah. Why?
So what if the other part of a rumor, and I'm not saying that this is true.
Now, is this Twitter or message? Where's this one coming from?
This is coming from Guy A, who knows a player on the team, and blah, blah, blah. So it is a rumor.
So it's message
Yes.
board. Okay, all right. I just got to know where they're coming from.
That's where it's coming from. Well, it's no better if it's on Twitter.
Well, no, it's probably worse. Well, no, they're both
bad.
They're both just often inaccurate.
Okay, let me say this, that there are people on the message boards that I believe 100% when I see them, this is not one of those people.
And what's he saying? Cade quit on the team.
That Cade has quit on the team.
But that he's still practicing.
Let me finish. He's not practicing.
Okay.
That he's quit on the team, he's not practicing, and he's going for a 7th year of eligibility with a medical redshirt somewhere.
Maybe. Who would want him?
Well, that's another story.
At this stage, who would want him for a 7th year? 25 years old, damaged knees, can't run. I mean, he was terrible. I mean, if there is some truth to that, then Cade owes Iowa some NIL money. If he's just quit on the team, and then why, if he quit on the team, would they list him as the starter on the depth chart? Kirk wouldn't do that. If Cade had quit on the team and just said, I'm done, they wouldn't put him as the starter on the depth chart.
Maybe he quit on the team after.
What, on Tuesday? I mean,
I know.
Maybe. I mean, he's okay. Sees himself number one. I told you guys I didn't want to play. I'm quitting. I mean, it's just.
I'm not saying it's a good look or even true.
Well, I have no idea. Giving you the counterpoint. I'm just going to wait and see what happens tomorrow.
Well, I think that's great.
I still wouldn't be stunned if all of a sudden McNamara rolls out there and they start and Kirk's been playing coy. I'm thinking less and less of that now because of what Kirk said. But if Cade quit on the team on Tuesday and Kirk still refused to say that Stratton was going to be the starter for sure on Wednesday night, who? Marco Lanez?
Well, would he be next?
He's the only other option. That's the only other quarterback.
Was it
well,
Girardi?
No, don't even think about it. Well, they're not going to. But who? I mean, who would it be?
The quarterback room is not stocked.
That's what I'm saying. So who would the other option be if they're not willing to? None of it makes any sense.
I mean, the only two remaining, if Cade's not in the mix, would be Girardi and Lanez, right?
Well, yes. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. And Kirk doesn't even mention Lanez is another one. He's been in the program for almost 2 years. He can't beat out Jackson Stratton.
Maybe not.
We have a call been waiting very patiently.
Okay,
couple of minutes.
I'm sure this will be key information.
This will be Karn.
No, not Karn.
Wow, it's not Karn. Wow.
Hey, I'm 40 years old and I got 3 years eligibility.
Do you have a good arm?
And 21 years ago I did.
How's your football IQ?
I would say it's a 8 out of 10. If you got 10 being the highest, I would say I know a little bit here and there. But, I haven't played in 20 years, but I can take a shot to the head and keep going. Because I played before, obviously, like Pat, and you guys, we played before they worried about concussions and they didn't exist. So, I mean, I'm good to go.
I played when they were leather helmets.
Yeah.
Real quick, man, I think it has to be, and obviously you hear all the stuff, but Pat, you just said it, man. Like, he either had to quit, he had to go in there and say, I want out of here. It ain't going good, and obviously we all know that, and it didn't work out. Great, came here, you tried, bud, and either quit or left or his attitude or something's going on, and man. and his confidence has got to be shaken. He can't step into throws.
He's not very good.
It's been a mess.
He's just not very good anymore.
Bingo.
But again, why'd they stick with him so long?
Because that's what Kirk does. And Kirk always says you don't lose your position because of an injury. Well, your injury's up, and he's still. I think he's the one probably saying. They're probably saying, "You sure you don't want to?" I mean, you know, you don't want to play your competitor. You're this, and if his confidence is that shot, and he's whatever, and he's been terrible anyway. He don't want to go out there.
Oh no, that's what I'm wondering. I think it's part of that.
Day.
Now, if he did quit on the team, if he did go in there and say, I'm done practicing, I'm going to look for another year of eligibility. I mean, that rumor's out there. No one's confirmed it. Kirk has not acknowledged that.
No.
And if he is doing that, then what Kirk said on Wednesday just doesn't make any sense. And if we end up finding out that he doesn't make the road trip, even though he was healthy, then I'll lose any respect I had for him.
Oh, for sure.
If this turns out to be true, I'm not going to say it's true because I don't know for sure. I'm hearing the same stuff that everybody else. But if he did quit on the team, then that's a bad look because he was sort of accused of doing the same thing at Michigan when he lost his starting position.
Yes, he
to J.J. McCarthy. I was told by people that they didn't want him even in the quarterback room after he lost his position before he got hurt because he was a cancer. Actually, I heard that from good people. And, this is not a good look. But, again, this is all hearsay. Everybody who's mentioned it always leaves themselves a little bit of an out and wiggle room because they don't know for sure. Yeah, they don't know for sure. I mean, now, if they're in a situation where they're going to Maryland and their only quarterbacks are Stratton, Lainez, and the kid you keep bringing up whose name I can't remember, that's just not a good situation. I mean,
well, there's no question about that.
But even with Cade, it's not. No, the quarterback situation at Iowa, even with all 5 quarterbacks healthy, is a mess.
Yes, it is.
I've seen enough of Brendan Sullivan to say, we need to go to the portal again. He's not necessarily the answer.
I don't think he can stand up to the.
And I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's a good enough thrower to play big time Big Ten football, throwing into tight windows.
Is he intriguing with his feet? Yeah,
sure, but that takes not very long to figure out. Okay, this guy can run, but he can't throw. Here, we're going to play this defense and knock the hell out of him.
And it took not very long.
2 games
to knock him out.
Yes, so they have serious problems at quarterback.
Agreed.
Recruiting. Didn't Lester say? Sorry, guys. Didn't Lester say like he's definitely wants to go to the portal or he's going?
Well, yeah, he said that about every position. He goes, we got to look at that at every position that way. Yeah, but no, they're going to hit the portal, but they're going to be in a catch-22. It's hard to go somewhere that doesn't have much to offer you. I mean, Iowa has a lot to offer, fan base, and but all the schools they're competing against have similar things to offer.
Or more.
What Iowa's offering is an offense and a history recently with quarterbacks that's brutal. It's going to be a tough sell.
Do you think and then this is the last question, then I'll get out of here. If you're looking at quarterbacks like that, and do you look at how we got Cade from Michigan, or do you go down and look at somebody like that kid that went to UNLV that was at an FCS school, or you know?
You just got to look for who you think is the best prospect who can come in right away and help you win. I mean, it's easy now to critique the McNamara stuff now with hindsight. Now, I remember when he committed, and I said it. I thought it was a good move, aggressive, but I wasn't blown away by Cade Man. I never was when I watched him play at Michigan. He was okay. So much around him was so good. He just kind of blended in. And we said it early when he came here on the air. He was never going to have that circumstance at Iowa. He was going to have to play a lot better than he did at Michigan because the stuff around him wasn't going to be as good, and he couldn't do it.
And he didn't do it.
And he couldn't do it. He was injured some, but he said this year he was as healthy could be, and other than a couple quarters and a half here and there, he wasn't very good. No. And yet they stuck with him for 3/4 of the season.
Yeah.
And the answer was always, well, he gives us the best chance to win. And that's saying that every day after watching Sullivan and now the new Joe Namath, Jackson Stratton, and all Lainez, all those guys. Every day they were watching those guys, and McNamara gave him the best chance to win. Then he gets this concussion, and now all of a sudden he's cleared, but it's cloudy. And if he did quit the team on like Tuesday or whatever, then Kirk's basically just been leading us on as a distraction, which is, if that's the way he chooses to handle it right now, that's his business. Thanks, caller.
And maybe it's a situation that is absolutely very much cloudy, and that Kirk didn't want to say anything because it's still up in the air.
Well, that's kind of what I think it is, and because I'll tell you, if McNamara did literally quit on the team, which some are suggest, I mean, that would probably be some conflict within,
Sure.
If I'm Brad Heinrichs and them who paid him, I mean, I'm seeing figures $600,000 a year. I don't think it was that much. I mean,
I don't either.
I've heard figures but whether, regardless what it was, I mean, that money is distributed monthly. And if I'm Iowa, you find out with possibly
no
3
payment
games,
this month.
done. You're done.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of us are putting the cart before the horse. We just need to wait and see how this unfolds on Saturday. I'll tell you, it's good for traffic. I mean, our website.
Yeah, I read your story.
Our and not just that, but man, everything. Our company that hosts us, they're like, we're really having trouble with the server, and I'm like, well, what's wrong? They're like, well, there's just too much traffic. And they're like, we had 8,000 page views during this, blah blah. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what we want. And they know that, but they're meeting with Cloudflare. Have you ever heard of Cloudflare?
No.
That's, I guess, their parent company to just figure out how to handle more traffic. But this will end up being our second biggest week ever, probably since Hawkfanatic started 4 years ago, and it might be our first. I mean, I'm amazed that even the basketball's starting to drive a ton of traffic. But man, the Brian Ferentz angle drove some good traffic. The quarterback stuff continues to drive. People are interested. People are also pissed, and when people are pissed, they'll read things to see if it either gets them more pissed or maybe causes them to
defuse a little bit.
Yep. Hello.
Car number 2. You're like Alidar.
Well, I was talking to my brother from Cleveland. He was excited about the Browns game last night.
Yeah, I bet he was.
And how about the Cavaliers?
Yeah, and he's excited about them, too.
Yeah, good times in Cleveland.
He said, it's about time Cleveland does some things. I'll die before they do anything.
Isn't there a cartoon character named Cleveland?
Yes, Cleveland Brown.
Yes.
From what?
What do you think Ohio State will do with Indiana tomorrow?
Win.
Yes.
But I think Indiana will make a good accounting, but I think Ohio State.
I hear
hope
some
they do.
people say it's going to be a tight game, and I hear other people say Indiana will get whipped.
Well, if anyone gets whipped, it's going to be Indiana. But I don't know. We'll see. But I could see Ohio State just all of a sudden everything just kind of, they end up winning 38-20, something like that.
Yeah.
I think Indiana's defense is going to be really tested.
Well, they were saying Indiana hasn't played anybody
But
good.
I also think Indiana at 11-1 deserves to be in the playoff. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, no,
Absolutely.
these SEC teams. No. If you're a 3-loss SEC team, you do not
Goodbye.
You don't deserve to be in over Indiana.
No.
And what about the game tonight?
High scoring. That
And
team's averaging.
It'll be a tough one.
Good fun. I'm
Do
looking
you
forward
think
to it.
Utah State will beat us?
No, I think Iowa's going to win. I think Utah State hasn't played anyone yet. But would I be shocked if they won? No, they're averaging 104 points. This is just a game. If you love fast-paced transition basketball, this is a game for you because that's what Iowa wants to do too. So it'll be interesting to see. This will be a test to see. Everyone's buying into this Iowa's better on defense stuff. I think they do. We'll see. I mean, they haven't played really anybody yet. We'll see. We've had other years where we bought into that early defensive success, and then by the Big Ten, they're allowing wide open threes. Let's wait and see.
Well, we're going to have to make some threes ourselves.
Well, this team's going to score points, and they're going to push the pace. So this is going to be a fun game to watch. And I have credentials for it, too. And Dallas
Maybe we can get the Sanford brothers to hit their threes.
Well, that would help.
Well,
we need more than the Sanford brothers.
Yes. Have you heard about Josh Dix?
He's going to
be in the mix?
He'll be
Well,
yeah,
what I heard about him was that they could have played him in the last
fine.
game.
That was precaution.
But they thought they needed him more for this game, and they didn't want him to hurt his hand any worse, so they didn't play him.
Well, that's what Fran said at the press conference. Yeah, that's what was reported by everybody. I mean, he's fine. He made the trip. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Okie doke, guys.
All right, Karen.
We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
But no, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, they win this one, that's another one you say, okay, this team's got some potential. But that's also another win in non-conference. You want to get as many as you can so you have a little margin for error in the Big Ten.
Yep.
It's
been fun so far because neither the men or the women have lost yet. They're both 5-0.
And how about Northern Iowa beating Iowa State?
Boy, it's
and I've never
who
the hell is Maya McDermott? I've never heard of her.
I think it's Greg's daughter.
Is that who it is?
I think so.
I watched her, but do we know that for sure?
No. But I think
if
so.
anyone knows
I
for
think
sure.
so.
But I watched her. She made shots that I've never seen Caitlin make. She was making leaning runners from like 16 feet, floaters, going away from the basket. It was just incredible. I've never seen that.
But she had like 40 points?
She had 37 points.
37?
Yeah. I mean, that was just, I mean, Iowa State's a good team, and that was a convincing win.
Yeah.
I mean, I had never heard of Miami. I probably have, But I'll admit, I don't follow Northern Iowa women's basketball very closely.
And I don't
But
either.
watching her clips, it was incredible. I'm like, God, that's Caitlin. In some ways, those are shots even Caitlin doesn't attempt. She was just on. I mean, she was dribbling about 15 feet from the basket. I thought she was getting ready to go toward the baseline. All of a sudden, she just threw up this floater.
Daughter of Mike McDermott.
Mike McDermott.
Yeah.
Not Greg.
So not Greg McDermott.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think it was Greg's daughter.
I just looked it up on their website.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
Who's
Greg.
Mike McDermott?
Well, he's Maya's dad.
He's a guy named Mike McDermott. She does not have to have a celebrity father. I think it's just a guy named Mike McDermott.
She is majoring in digital media leadership.
Wow.
So maybe she'll run your website for you one of these days.
Hey,
She's hired.
more power. She can have it. But yeah, it's going to be game 7 o'clock. Part of me wishes I was there. There's just no time with everything that is going on. Halasan, I thought about going down there, but he's got football. There's just so much going on. But it's funny, though. That's the game. I thought when I was applying for credentials that I was applying for the game in Moline. And I ended up applying for the game in Kansas City, got approved for those, and then luckily when I found out the mistake through Iowa Sports Information, Dallas and I got passes for the Moline game, which we did cover, but we still have 2 passes waiting down there in Kansas City. Like I said, if we had no football going on right now, I'd be down there.
Yeah.
Haas and I were talking about that the other day. We'd leave early in the afternoon.
Still time.
And still, I just can't. Because how do you do that and then cover football tomorrow?
You'd be real tired.
It just,
lack of sleep.
I mean,
That's
I guess
how
if
you
you
do it.
spend the night in a hotel down there for 2 nights, it just. But I'll write from home. Hopefully Iowa wins, so they'll interview him right after the game on the court, and what have you. Usually they do that with the winning team on the Big Ten Network, so you can get quotes from, and then boom, you'll have a story up 15 minutes after the game. Reader won't even know you're there or not, and because I'm going to watch the game, I'll follow it with Stat Pack and what have you, and I'm glad it starts at 7 instead of 8. Aren't you?
Yeah, very much so. I don't like 8 o'clock starts, whether I'm
I
at
don't even
home
like
or in
7:30.
the.
I think
don't
7
either.
should be about as late as it gets. 6, I'm getting used to these 6 o'clock starts. Those are kind of nice.
6s are the best, especially if you're going to them in
I
Carver.
mean, that women's game the other day, I had a story with quotes from Jan and Hannah Stolke. I had a story up by 8:23 after the game.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, and then people will still engage then, but you get a story up at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, people are in bed. They're not reading. It helps with traffic.
Well, even better than a 6 o'clock at night is a 3 o'clock on a Sunday, which is the women against Washington State.
I'll be covering that
That'll
one.
be good. Yeah.
I'll be covering that one. I think I will. I don't think Dallas wants to. I'll let him do it, but I think he's going to be out of town. And then we've got the epic barn burner against Upstate.
Upskirt.
That one's coming up. My non-conference is almost over, though. I mean, it's amazing.
There'll be a few salted in next
You got
month,
New Hampshire,
but you also have
Iowa State,
Northwestern.
Iowa State and Michigan. They start with Northwestern at home in Big Ten, then they're at Michigan. They've also got Iowa State on the 12th, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. And the 3rd is Northwestern.
Northwestern is December 3rd, and then Michigan is like December 6th, I believe, right after. That's at Michigan, so they got to at least split those.
Yes.
At least split, because I watched Northwestern the other night. They're not
very good.
They're not. I mean, but I've said that before. But they always had Boo Booey.
Well, they got Barnheiser.
Well, they got
one other
Barnheiser.
guy.
They got the Martinelli, and they got the big guy in the middle still, Nicholson. They got a couple decent transfers, but I just think they're going to miss Boo Booey. I don't see them being an NCAA tournament. If he gets this team in the tournament, then he is a coaching genius. He already is. He's led them to 3 NCAA tournaments. I mean, he's done stuff at Northwestern nobody else has done. But I watched them the other night struggle to beat a average. God, who was it they were playing? And they won by 3. And they just didn't look very good. Barnheiser is probably their best player, and I think he's a solid player. He reminds me of the kind of guy that would play at Iowa and be like Iowa's 3rd option, just a knee burner, you know what I mean, tough guy that'll make a 3 if you leave him open, what have you. But Boo Booey carried that team in so many ways. They got Ty Berry's back. They got a lot of players back. They just don't have the best one back.
So, I mean, it's a game that you should win at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Yeah, the game at Michigan, not with Dusty May, it's hard to say. I don't know what to make of Michigan right now. Dusty May's a good coach, and he looks like Tom and Terry Brands. He looks like the basketball version of Tom and Terry Brands. I've always said that, and the more I watch him, the more he looks like him.
Yeah.
Who do you think would win in a fight between Dusty May and Tom Brands?
I would not bet against Tom Brands.
I'm with you on that one.
Now they're hosting Iowa State tomorrow night.
Who is? Oh, yeah, wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing that we were going to get to. I thought you were talking about Michigan.
No.
Yeah, and I think Iowa's going to win that. I mean, Iowa State, they're narrowing the gap. The programs hate each other. Okay, that's fine. That makes for better wrestling if they don't like each other. But I still think with what Iowa went out and got in the portal, I think they're better. They're better than Iowa State.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think they're better than Penn State? No. Do I think they maybe narrowed the gap a little bit? Yeah, sure. But I've been told by people that know it more that the gap is still wide. That Penn State is just in a class by itself. Penn State is Iowa in mid-'80s, mid-'90s.
Absolutely.
That's what Penn State is. And so, but we'll see. That arena will be rocking tomorrow. And, that's just another thing. I mean, November's insane, isn't it? With how busy it is. Now, is that on Big Ten Network?
It is not because it's football Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So the BTN Plus.
Okay.
And then volleyball's at Minnesota tomorrow night. That's BTN Plus.
And then the swimming tournament continues and ends tomorrow night.
And the women wrestlers are at the Missouri Valley Open in Missouri today and tomorrow.
And I'm guessing they're going to have success.
I'm guessing they are too.
I mean, some of them you'll see a pin in 19 seconds, major decision in like a minute and a half. I mean,
I don't want to take anything away from the women's wrestling team because
it's not their fault.
There's nobody for them to wrestle.
Not right now. It sounds like it's still 3 to 5 years away.
Yeah,
and that's not their fault. You had to start with someone. I give Iowa credit for starting it.
You bet.
But when you see all these matches 44-1,
yeah,
and it's just, and you see people. I watched this one poor girl from Cornell wrestling against Cassiope's sister. It was over in 23 seconds because she kept throwing her over, and then they just ended it. I don't know wrestling and know enough of why they. I don't know if it was mercy, but it was so sad.
Well, Coach Chun said that one of their transfers won by default, and they still wanted to go out and have their hands raised in Carver because that was a dream of theirs.
Oh wow!
I just thought that was a great.
Yeah,
story.
they have a lot of they have a lot of the defaults too because there's just no competition. Right now.
Yeah,
and that's too bad. Because they've got some great wrestlers, but there's no competition for them.
Yeah, but it's fun to see women's wrestling here in Iowa City. It definitely is, and there are a bunch of great competitors. Got a wonderful coach, and setting the stage for a really successful program for years and years.
Yeah,
I'm going to go back. Should I go back and? Do we want to find Kirk's quote from Wednesday?
Sure.
Let me go back and see. I wasn't.
Oh, when he was doing his show on Wednesday?
Yeah, because that's what everyone. Let me see.
Well, it is a cloudy statement.
He loved that quote. He goes, "It's clear that it's cloudy."
But what I don't understand, though, these other people. Well, McNamara's already quit on the team. Then it's not cloudy. If he's quit, which some people are suggesting, what's cloudy about it? You've got
maybe the NIL issues.
But I don't think that's what Kirk's talking about. Kirk's talking about
probably not.
That's what Kirk's talking about on the field. He's not on, and it just doesn't. None of this stuff makes sense. But by God, is he good for business? And, all right, let me see Kirk's quote again. We're not playing yet, but Jackson looks like the guy that will be going, and he'll get the start. Kirk Ferentz said Wednesday on his weekly radio show. Confident that he'll do a great job. If he's our guy, we'll go with him and see what he can do. So what did he first he says he's our guy, then what's he say?
If he's our guy.
That's hesitation. That's wiggle room.
Absolutely.
And I don't think he's making that wiggle room for Marco Lainez or Ryan Girardi.
No, I don't think so either.
So that's why I'm still kind of like, okay, what the hell's going on?
He did say Tuesday that he was much more impressed and more confident in his performance, given the fact that he got a chance to take some reps during the bye week.
Yeah, and I get that, but guys, that's also just PR.
Of course it is. But
I get it. He did say that, and there probably is some truth to that. But still, we're talking about a guy who 3 weeks ago they had no desire or interest in taking snaps at quarterback, whether he was at linebacker.
Of course.
I mean, they can try to put lipstick on this thing, but it's a quarterback pig.
Yeah, you can't take a quote back from your offensive quarterback.
And I'll tell you what, if they do go out to Maryland and win with Jackson Stratton at quarterback tomorrow, congratulations.
Yes,
that'll be an achievement.
It sure
But if
will.
I'm Marco Lainez, I'm saying, what the hell? Unless Marco has just been so noticeably bad in practice that even he can't put up an argument. But if you're Marco Lainez, who's been in the program now for almost 2 years, aren't you? How the hell did I get passed up by just because I broke my thumb, I got passed up. I was out for a couple of weeks. Doesn't that seem odd to you? That's bad recruiting then.
Well, I think that's what it is. I mean, Marco has shown us that he can run, okay? But he also showed us that he didn't pass very well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, we all saw it.
Just like Cade did for 13 starts.
Yes. So what that says is bad recruiting, and the quarterback room is a mess.
Yes, that's where we are.
That is where
and I
we
think
are.
there's a lot of people that are trying to find little narratives that kind of justify Iowa. Like, well, that's Cade's fault. He quit on the team. Even if Cade did quit on the team, it's Iowa's fault for maybe they didn't vet him enough.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they didn't vet him enough. And maybe they just put all their eggs in his basket and he wasn't good enough.
Well, I think they did.
And I think they did. And I just think
And in the off season, they said, well, let's get Brendan Sullivan.
But Cade, you're still our guy.
Yes.
But Cade, you're still our guy. 8 games into it this year when he could barely run, inaccurate, losing games that they shouldn't have lost. He's still our guy. Why? Kirk said, even going into that 8th game, well, we watch practice every day, and we still believe he gives us the best chance to win. That was less than a month ago.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And now here we are. It just doesn't make any sense whether he quit, I don't care if Stratton was playing punter a month ago. The point is that he shouldn't be starting if this team had any decent quarterback depth and had recruited them. That's the issue. That is
the issue.
That is the issue, and I don't know. I mean, I think a lot's going to happen between now and like February with Iowa football. I'm not making any wild predictions, but would I be shocked if Kirk decided this is it? No. Would you?
I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Because it's different than it was 2 years ago.
And he's going to be 70 in August.
Yeah. He said, this just ain't worth it.
He's going to be in your captain's decade here soon.
Yeah.
He's going to be joining you in captain.
Yes, he will.
And but some people think he'll have one more year in him. So I don't think Kirk sticks around to break the record. That's just not the way I think he operates.
Yeah,
the other thing he's at risk
you.
is you got to have at least a 60% winning percentage to be in the Hall of Fame. I think right now he's right around there.
He is.
And
he's at like 59 and change.
And there's a chance they could go 5 and 6. He may not have a winning year next year. Then he would never make it. So if those things are important to him, you can argue either way on that one. But I don't think, of course, it matters to him what he's accomplished, but Kirk doesn't seem like the kind of guy, because let's face it, he's done this in a lot more games than what Woody Hayes did.
For sure.
It's not even close.
For sure.
So not that it deserves an asterisk, but it sort of does, the record. I mean, coaches now are coaching 13, 14 games in seasons. Woody rarely coached more than 9.
Yeah.
I mean, Evie's greatest teams went like 8-1-1, 8-1, stuff like that. Howard Jones's greatest teams, what, 7-0, 8-0?
7-0.
Yeah, it's just completely different. You can't compare.
But yet you do.
Well, we do because that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a little break? And by the time we come back, maybe the quarterback situation will have been resolved.
But McNamara rejoins the team. Hey, I'm
just kidding.
I'm back. I was just kidding. I want my NIL money.
I was just pouting a little. I'm sorry.
I think there's a little pouting involved.
I do too.
Whether he has quit the team or not, I'm guessing it sounds like there's a little pouting involved.
I think you're right.
Listening to Hawkfanatic on the mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Your life is always changing, and a lot of things can affect how and what you save. So a good retirement plan changes with your life. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. So start a conversation today. Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far. For information locally, call 338-3799 or 866-217-2369 or stop by 501 12th Avenue, Suite 201, Coralville. Wells Fargo Advisors, LLC, member SIPC.
Hi, this is Jill Sterner with Sterner Taxidermy in Lone Tree. It's hunting season again, and I'm inviting all of you hunters to follow us on our Facebook page. You can view Dirk's award-winning artistry, his workmanship that he completes with each individual piece. We can be reached at 319-330-1774. Again, 319-330-1774.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit suples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching, and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top-level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's e-keys for cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's e-keys for cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's e-keys for cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family. Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen and bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
Hanging lights is a pain. Dealing with blown bulbs, dangerous installations, and the endless rat's nest of cords, there's got to be a better way, and now there is. Illuma Lights Permanent Outdoor Lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuma Lights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course, lighting for the best season, football season. The Illuma Lights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illuma Lights LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. No more ladders, no more hooks, no more wifey's dirty looks. That's the song you'll be singing all year long with Illuma Lights Permanent Outdoor Lighting from Big Dog Tech. Find out more at BigDogTek.net or call 319-395-0800.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Football fans, this is Bill Leixenring of the Oxyoke Inn. We are on your way to or from the game. We're ready to serve you with the same quality food and customer service you've come to trust for over 80 years. The Oxyoke Inn is serving our famous Sunday brunch buffet with lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyoke Inn. KCJJ weather. Brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
It is going to be mostly cloudy today with a high of 43 this afternoon. The wind out of the northwest at 5 to 15. Tonight down to 29. Tomorrow partly cloudy, 47. Then on Sunday, the nicest day of the weekend, partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 55. After that, we cool it down. Highs will drop into the mid to upper 30s next week with a chance of some light rain and snow by Wednesday into Thursday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Outside now, it's 35.
It's 9:45. Jim Hunter along with Tom Suter and Pat Harty in the Hawkfanatic show. By the way, I don't know if you heard of Bread Garden, our hot turkey Thanksgiving dinner is all sold out.
Okay, then.
But you got until noon. You can still get the take and bake.
Yeah.
Which you can pick up on Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon.
Well, we ordered ours first part of last week.
Very smart. Yeah,
So.
I checked it, I think, Wednesday afternoon, and they had sold out for the hot. So
All right, good to know.
Got till noon to put your order in for the take and bake.
All right.
All right, back to Hawkfanatic, where we were discussing the quarterback situation as we went to break.
We were.
And it has not been settled in that short time.
No, in those 8 minutes or whatever, no settling.
Well, I did see Caitlin's not going to play in the 3-on-3 stuff.
You're correct.
That does not surprise me.
No.
She didn't need it.
Yeah, she said she wasn't going to.
She needs some time to herself and away from basketball, and she doesn't need the money.
So there was a new State Farm commercial that I saw.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, Caitlin's new commercial.
I haven't seen it yet.
You'll like it.
Yeah, she played in some sort of golf tournament over the last week. And
yes.
Yeah, she almost killed some fans.
Yeah,
with an errant tee shot. Good Lord, they need because they were close to her like they do with Tiger Woods. But as much as I love Caitlin, guys, she ain't Tiger Woods when it comes to golfing, and that they're just lucky no one got hurt.
Yeah.
Everyone was able to laugh about it, but I'm like, oh my God.
I'm sure Caitlin wasn't laughing about it.
Well, once she saw that nobody was hurt, I think she got a laugh out of it. But
I'm surprised more people aren't hit with golf balls. I mean, the players hit them so far and so hard, and sometimes they're offline.
Yeah, and they go into the crowd, and some people do get hit.
Yeah, they do.
No, you're right.
So it's I think good. No, Caitlin's not an LPGA level golfer.
No, she likes the game and she's pretty good at it, but she's not 100% accurate as are most stuffers.
No,
we can get the ball into the fairway, but the other 10% of the time it's either in the other fairway or out of bounds somewhere.
Chris, that is in her new State Farm commercial, so you'll enjoy it.
All right.
So yeah, but I'm still interested in the football team. Can't wait for the game tomorrow. But there's some side stories that are interesting.
Yes, indeed.
Be interesting to see how the quarterback thing plays out.
Now, what's Maryland's strength that we're going to have the
passing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 NFL receivers
and a good quarterback.
I mean, they lost Tagovailoa and then haven't lost a beat. I mean, the stats are the same. They've got, Ty Felton's as good as any receiver in the country. I mean, he's, other than Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, he's as good as anyone in the Big Ten. And then the other one's Prather. They, between the two of them, Iowa's got less than 1,400 yards passing as a team. And let's see, where is Ty Felton? Leads the Big Ten in receptions, 86.
Wow.
For 140 yards. Bolitnikoff, watch list. Prather, let's see, Caden Prather, who's 6'4", 212. He has 52 catches for 579 yards. Iowa's leading receiver is Gill with less than 400. The other ones all have less than 200. There's just no comparison at the wide receiver position.
And they don't run the ball particularly well.
But they have a good running back. Roman Hemby's a good running back. They don't run the ball particularly well as a team, but his stats are pretty good.
No, he's not bad.
Roman Hemby's got, he's got 524 rushing yards, but he's also got over 200 receiving yards and over 20 catches. He's a talented guy. He's a good running back. Sometimes running statistics can be a little misleading. Like Iowa's 2019 that won 11 games, they barely averaged 100 yards rushing. But Adam Robinson and Brandon Weger were pretty good running backs.
They were.
That team only averaged like 114 yards rushing. When I tell people that, oh, you're nuts, and they look it up. And how do we win 11 games? Well, that's the beauty of Kirk Ferentz football.
Yeah.
We can't throw, we can't run, but we can still beat all the average teams and then get crushed by the. But back then, they even beat some elite. That team won 11 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that team could not run the ball. This team has really good offensive skill players. And if Iowa's not ready to play, and if they got issues, I mean, let's face it. If I guarantee, if Stratton starts tomorrow, they're going to build it up like he is. You know, I mean, you got to stay optimistic, but you also got to be realistic and be like, okay, this was a guy that they had no faith in a month ago, because whether he played live, he hadn't moved up the depth chart at quarterback. He hadn't done anything at quarterback. We hadn't heard anything.
No, well, honestly, if we're able to run the ball right out of the box, then all he really has to do is be able to hand off the football.
You hope that's enough, but we'll see. I mean, if Maryland, we said the same thing going into UCLA and Michigan State.
And we weren't able to run the football.
And they weren't able to run the football because those teams loaded the box, and then Iowa wasn't capable of throwing. That's my concern. Maryland's not very good on defense.
No,
they're okay. Not. Their run defense is pretty good. They're only giving up 115 yards a game. They've got some athletes. If they stop Iowa from running, then
we know we're in trouble.
And it's probably going to be a loss, because I just don't think Jackson Stratton, if he's the guy, can win this game under those circumstances. And I know Cade McNamara can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing. If McNamara quit the team, that's bad. But, this is not like Drew Tate quitting the team his senior year. Cade McNamara just isn't very good. Is that fair to say?
Well, it's fair to say he sure hasn't been very good in an Iowa uniform. That's more than fair to say.
Yeah, he's been mediocre at best.
At very best.
And he's had more than enough chances to solidify his standing, and he just never has. And now Iowa fans, he's on Twitter, man, they want Stratton. They want Lanez. Hell, they want anyone. I haven't seen him turn on a quarterback this fast. This is worse than Deacon Hill. It's worse than Petrus. I have people saying, God, Petrus looks pretty good now. I've had others say, this is like Jake Christensen. That's how quickly Iowa fans. And it hasn't really been quickly. He's been here for 2 years.
No, it's been 2 years.
But a lot of Iowa fans gave up on McNamara a long time ago, and they hear Kirk every week say he gives us our best chance to win, and then I get emails and texts from people saying, is he watching the same games we are? I've been dealing with that for 2 years.
Yes,
he is watching the same games.
But he's
also watching practice.
That.
And I get that, Tom, and I've always been defending him for that, but I think it comes down to the fact that they didn't really have any good quarterbacks.
It boils down to recruitment and development, and we have been deficient on both.
And say what you want about Brendan Sullivan, he was not high up on the quarterback transfer portal value list. He just wasn't.
No.
They took what they could get.
He looked good to us because he was mobile, and what we had in the
he also looked good for Iowa based on what they could get.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't have, they weren't picking between prime rib and New York strip. They were picking between bologna and cube steak.
The $10.5 million quarterback going to Michigan was not ever going to consider Iowa.
The reason he's going to Michigan besides money is he's from Detroit.
Yeah.
Location and what have you. But no, Iowa was just all in on McNamara. After that 22 season ended, they're like, we got to do something. Cade's up at Michigan. He's pouting. He's unhappy because he got beat up by McCarthy. Let's go and get him and build our offense around him. They did that. Iowa fans loved it. In fairness, some of these people bitching in the media right now about him quitting were just overjoyed when he signed.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, this is program changing.
Let's not rewrite history. 95% of the fan base and the media was celebrating Cade McNamara coming.
Just like they were Steve Alford when he came,
absolutely.
Including me. When they hired Alford, I'm like, wow, this looks like a good hire by Bob Busby. I didn't know he was an ass.
And then the first game beating the defending national champion.
My God, it was like bring on in Kentucky. It was
anybody.
But we didn't realize that he was a mediocre ass.
No.
And you learn that over time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's funny. A lot of people are interested in this Iowa-Maryland game, but not really for the game itself. Are Kirk and Brian going to shake hands at midfield? I don't know if Brian will ever even be down. He may not be. I don't know what they do with their assistants if they're up in the press box. Will he be down pregame? I'm sure Kirk and Brian are going to have some time. But Kirk made it sound like they're not going to be going out.
Maybe not on Saturday.
Well, Kirk made it sound like they're not going out for dinner tonight. I would think if Mary's out there, they'd figure out a way for the family to at least get together a little bit tonight. But no, tomorrow it's a game. I mean,
they're business.
I'm sure they'll shake hands on the field. If Brian sees Luke Lachey, there'll be some of that and what have you. But once that game starts, it's they both want to beat each other.
Yeah,
it's a big game for both teams. Iowa's trying to salvage a somewhat respectable season. Maryland's trying to avoid a losing record.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't think a lot of Maryland fans care about this game. I'd be surprised if that stadium is anywhere close to full.
I would be shocked.
Because I also don't think there's going to be a ton of Iowa fans going there.
No, I would be shocked if the stadium is full.
And normally the kind of fans that go there besides parents are people like you and Ann, but you guys didn't give this one a thought.
No.
And I'm thinking you're not alone in that.
No, we've been there.
And this team's 6-4. There's just not a lot of. That's a commitment to go to Maryland.
I mean, if we were 9-1, would we have considered it?
Would have
maybe,
but you're not.
But we're not.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there'll be as many Iowa fans there. So we shall see. The weather's not going to be a factor, and thank God it's an 11 o'clock game.
It's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yes, I'm so sick of night games. But that's the world we live in. I still have to remind myself that they're playing Nebraska at 6:30 at night on November 29th. I just think that is the dumbest thing.
Well, and as a fan, it's going to be tough.
But don't you, when you get into the stadium and you're all on top of each other, just sweating and gooing, doesn't that help it? Doesn't that help it make it a little warmer?
A little.
All right. Is there a lot of sweating and gooing that goes on?
In the first two games.
Probably not so much a week from Friday.
Probably not so much a week from Friday.
I mean, to the next Friday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you will tailgate, though, some?
Some.
Like an hour?
I would say that, yeah.
What will Andy have as far as food? Is he going to be bringing Godfather's Pizza?
No. Andy generally cooks up meat products.
Okay, so
it's an early game, so he
game he does breakfast sandwiches, right? But
6:30
he won't do breakfast sandwich. Although I wouldn't mind. I could eat a breakfast sandwich at any time.
Me too.
A good breakfast sandwich at any time.
So at 6:30, he might have like little teeny steak sandwiches or something. I don't know.
But wouldn't Godfather's Pizza be just fine?
Yeah, it's a question of keeping it warm.
You're right about that. Well, I had pizza for the first time last night in a while, and my problem is if I have pizza, usually it's at night. I've probably had something to drink, and I end up eating too much. And I wake up the next day thinking, oh, man, that's why I feel like crap. I ate all but one. Today I opened up the box. I still have 5 big squares left.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be lunch and an afternoon snack. So I'll get 3 meals out of it.
We went to Poly Eyes Wednesday night before the Los Lobos concert.
I thought about going to that.
And it's so long since I've actually sat in a pizzeria and had a pizza brought to my
Me
table.
too.
It's fun.
It is fun.
It's so much better.
And
that
that's
way.
great pizza atmosphere.
There's no cooling off time. The steam is coming off the thing.
That's what I enjoyed about going to Godfather.
Mouth,
That's what I enjoyed about the Godfathers in Clovis the other night. I hadn't done that. Andy came out and talked to us. I hadn't done that. Dallas and I, we were there for about an hour. We had a great time. And we waited a little bit for the pizza, but they literally brought it right out and you had to let it cool for a while.
That was
fabulous. It was incredible. And I hadn't had Godfathers in 40 years.
Yeah,
I took that first bite and I'm like, oh my God, here it's all these memories coming back.
Yeah.
And they've got 4 different crusts, but I went with their original, and Andy says that's by far their biggest seller because their original crust is kind of doughy at times, but when you get to the end of it, it's crispy.
Yes.
It's a doughy, crispy crust if there is such a thing.
No, it's good.
And it fills you up. Sometimes thin, crispy, as much as I love Sam's, Tom, you know this too, sometimes you can eat 6 pieces and still not be full.
That's true.
Because it's so thin, but I love thin pizza too.
And what kind of Godfathers did you get?
I got pepperoni and mushroom. Dallas got pepperoni and sausage.
The sausage.
And we got the original recipe.
Their sausage is great.
And it's a neat location. We just had a really good time. It was fun getting to know Andy. I appreciate his advertising. Hopefully he'll be with us this coming year. And if he's motivated by traffic, I'll send you the analytics from this week. Because like when Vortex reached out to me on Tuesday, hey Pat, we're having issues because of the traffic. We were already over 30,000 page views on Tuesday for the week. And so, like I said, we may break a record.
Well, hello? Good. I hope you do.
Hello?
Hey, how we doing?
Good. Hey, okay.
Hey, good. Hey, so the get-in price for tomorrow's game, you were talking about interest out in Maryland. $6 will get you a ticket to get into tomorrow's game.
$6?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
That app I told you about before, Mr. Suter, that Tick app?
Yes.
$6 will get you in the door.
Wow. Well, hey,
There's still time for you and Ann. I got that late flight out of CR.
There's still time for you to get down to KC.
KC, neither one are happening.
Neither one's happening.
So I've been reading, as you know, and it's Twitter. There's a lot of speculation out there about what you guys are saying about maybe this being Kirk's last year.
Well, I mean, it's fair to. I mean, he's almost 70.
But we don't know.
But we don't know. Would I be surprised if it is? No. Would I be surprised if he came back for? He's not going to coach through his contract. There's no way he coaches through 29. There's no. That's.
I wouldn't think so. 5 years.
That's 5 more years.
Does he kind of go down, Pat, with the McNamara ship a little bit because he had tied all the horses to this guy?
Well, that hasn't helped, but I don't think Kirk's going to base his retirement on.
And all the other stuff.
I don't think Kirk's going to base his retirement on Cade McNamara. I
No.
mean, yeah, they made a mistake. It didn't work out. They've made other mistakes that haven't worked out. I don't think it'll be that, though. No. The McNamara thing just has not worked out. But we all loved it when it happened.
Yes, the team has not performed as hoped this year.
And he's been a big reason why.
Yes, for sure.
He's been a big reason why. The pass blocking's been pretty good.
Yeah.
The run blocking's been pretty good. Caleb Johnson, when you give him room to run, he's pretty good.
Great.
When you get a ball to Luke Lachey, he catches it. When you get a ball to Jacob Gill, he catches it. They just have had bad quarterback play.
That's it.
Yeah, I still don't get it, guys, because we've been talking all year long, and we've had this conversation where we knew McNamara wasn't a great quarterback, and he played scared, it seemed like, early in the season, like he was afraid to get injured again. And then, it's like you said, Pat, he had a couple of good quarters, and that pretty much was his season. But we've always thought that he wasn't, the next coming that he was looked at as when he came from Michigan after, the success he had there.
Yeah, for sure. We knew he wasn't the second coming of God.
But that's not how it was greeted when he transferred.
But after year one, we knew.
Well, yeah, but when he transferred here, my God, there were media people following him around Carver like he was the Messiah.
Yeah.
Wanting to get comments
I
from
won't
him.
be a hypocrite. I was excited when he was coming. I thought,
me too.
Hey, we're going to get a good quarterback. The future looks promising for the Hawks.
No, I was surprised that they were able to do it under the circumstance, but I do remember saying, and Tom, I remember us both saying, hey, this ain't Michigan.
No, that's right.
This is not Michigan. We need to wait and see. Let's kind of temper this enthusiasm because he's not going to have the best offensive line in college football. He's not going to have NFL wide receiver. I mean, it's a lot different here. And we found out when Cade doesn't have everything working around him, he ain't very good.
Well, I know I've given you a hard time in the past, Pat, about drinking the Kool-Aid, but you've been real upfront about it. McNamara, you did not drink his Kool-Aid. I give you that from the start.
And I will say, I've been called a lot worse than drinking the. Some people would be shocked to hear somebody accuse me of drinking the Hawkeye Kool-Aid because I'd say over the years more times I've been accused of being a hater than a Kool-Aid drinker.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, way more. But hey, whatever you perceive, that is your business.
There's been times when I thought you were drinking, Kirk's Kool-Aid a little bit. But, I'll give it to you. You've been on Cade since, the beginning of the season. You were right about him all along. And, so that's why you make the big bucks there, Mr.
Yeah.
Pat.
Yep. You don't ever forget that.
I won't. And I will always give you credit for that. I'm sure social media will do that too because you know how much they love you out there.
Yeah, well, I don't know much anymore because I'm not on it. And all the people that despise me, there's a lot of even Hawkeye fans I block on Twitter because I don't have no interest in just the same people saying the same crap. Just goodbye. I just block them. They're gone. I don't care. But no, appreciate your interest.
He's going to delete all of his social media by now because there's no way he's going to like the storm that's coming his way once it's found out that he actually quit on the team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they phrase it, too. If he did, there's ways to phrase this to not make him look as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Because, like I said, Kirk has not confirmed anything. No. All the stuff we're hearing right now is speculation, hearsay, rumors, and what have you. And almost everybody I've heard has left wiggle room.
Well, it's a big Hawkeye weekend. Let's hope we have a lot of success both on the gridiron and the women playing soccer out west.
Yeah, they play Georgetown today.
Hopefully we have a great weekend and something really nice to talk about on Monday.
All right.
Well, we sure hope so.
Watch them lose.
All right, you guys have a great weekend. Go Hawks.
They lose every single competition.
The men get thrashed tonight.
Wrestling just gets assaulted, and that I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I think I think they're going to win most. Let's see. Let's go through it. Football. I think they're going to win. I don't know why I'm saying this.
I do too.
Maybe we're just. And like I said, and I'm not right now. I'm 90% convinced that McNamara won't be part of the But like I said, there's a reason Kirk said if. Don't you agree?
Yes.
And I don't think it's necessarily for Marco Lainez or the walk-on from North Scott. Okay, so basketball. Do you think basketball is going to win?
The men, I do not.
Okay, how about wrestling?
Yes,
I think they're going to win wrestling. How about soccer against, I think Georgetown's ranked 6th?
I think you're right.
Yes.
What's it, what? Oh, a 6th seed. And Iowa's what? What's Iowa seeded? 3. Oh.
So I'll say the soccer makes the Sweet 16 for the first time.
God, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So I'll say soccer, yes.
Okay, then what? The women against Washington State on Sunday? I think the women will win. I don't know anything about Washington. I haven't looked at that yet.
I don't think they're all that. I mean, they're going to be an average.
Hey, it was a night. Kansas is not very good, but Iowa made them look not very good too. So, but Kansas is not very. There's a reason they're picked like 8th or 9th.
That's right.
I mean, there was a while there where they couldn't score.
And I think Washington State will be in that same talent level.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I think the more I watch this Iowa women's team, I think they've got a chance to make the NCAA tournament.
Oh, for sure.
Do I think they're going to win the Big Ten regular season title? No,
No.
I don't think they're that good. But I do think, barring injuries, they got to keep Stolke, Olsen, and Addie O'Grady healthy. And the other thing is, Kylie Feuerback's got to start shooting better. She does everything else.
She had 2 great drives, but it was late in the game.
But she's got to start making some threes,
Yeah.
man. I mean, could you imagine if you could combine her with McCabe, their skills?
God.
You'd have a great player. Because there's times where I watch Taylor McCabe and say, man, you got to do more than just stand behind the three-point line and wait to get. And when I watch Feuerback, I mean, she seems like she doesn't have confidence right now in her three-point shot. She'll shoot it if she's absolutely open, but it's just almost like she's hoping it goes in as opposed to thinking it goes. Teams are going to adjust to that.
Yeah.
They're going to start sagging off her and making it harder to drive. The thing is, though, man, I think she's their best defender. She can rebound.
Lucy's awful good.
Yeah, but I don't think she's as good as. I don't think Lucy can guard as many positions as Feuerback can. And Feuerback can pass. She just needs to start scoring. They're going to need and the other one. And I know Sidal Falter's got to play better.
She's not there yet.
She's not there yet. She's fouling too much. But I think she'll get there. And it'll be nice though if they could. If I don't know, Jan says they're being real careful with the Leo. But it'd be nice if they could get Lucy Olsen some time off the ball.
It would.
And that's why I like Taylor Stremlow. I think Stremlow can play point guard enough to where, because I still think Lucy's better off the ball, ideally. But we'll see. I mean, things right now are looking good. They're playing good defense. Both teams are playing good defense, and you can't be better than undefeated.
And evidently, Aaliyah Guyton is starting to practice a little bit.
Yeah, Jan addressed it after the game,
Yeah.
but they're still moving very slowly with it.
Yep.
I mean, because, man, you push that too soon, and you could take a serious step back.
Yep, but you don't want that.
And it'd be nice to get her this year, because if she is someone that they can depend on, then you're going to see Lucy Olsen playing off the ball. Because Aaliyah Guyton's a point guard.
Yes, she is.
So that would be nice. They could sure use her.
And she's good.
I think you're seeing the depth kind of figure itself out. You're going to have Stremlow, Mulaney, and Hayden, 3 freshmen coming off the bench, along with. But I mean, who else do they got coming off the bench? It's unfortunate. I'm not knocking it, but Edgar, the social media girl, what's her name? The girl that's always
Jada.
Jada Gimphy
is not going to play much.
And that's, to me, that's kind of a concern.
Yeah.
Both are in their 3rd and 4th year. I was thinking that would be depth. They don't really have a lot of experienced depth coming off the bench.
No, they don't.
And but I'll tell you never thought Jada Gimphy was going to play.
No.
Because remember during the summer, she was the big story. Oh, she's been waiting her turn. And they were building her up and building. And I remember you saying, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I just don't think she's quite the level that they need.
Well, this far in, is that ever going to be?
Oh, maybe not. I mean, she's important to the team. She's an important cog.
She does seem to be someone who's a good leader.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to pout about playing times. Always seems to be optimistic. But I'm just saying it'd be nice to have a 6'2" junior forward coming off the bench helping.
So as of right now, our depth is the 3
freshmen.
freshmen and Taylor McCabe.
Taylor McCabe. Yeah, that to me, if you're nitpicking right now, that's a concern.
A little bit, yeah.
That's a concern. And because there's going to be nights where those freshmen are freshmen.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that the gal from Solon's going to get a lot of PT.
No, I think they're probably going to redshirt her. But that brings me back to my original point, and I'm not saying it's all on Kylie Feuerback. Kylie Feuerback's got to play better on offense. for this team to get where they want to go.
I think so, and
she's
so
gotta
does
play-
Sid.
And yeah, Sid has though.
Yes.
Kylie Feuerbach as a Hawkeye has not really ever been lights out on offense.
No, she
Would you
hasn't.
agree?
Yeah,
she had some moments with
100%.
Iowa State, but she's never really been. The only reason I think she plays a lot is because of everything else she does.
Her defense is
I
excellent.
mean, her shooting is nowhere close to being Taylor McCabe.
No.
I mean, Taylor McCabe, if you leave her open, there's a 40 to 50% chance
It's
she's
gonna
going to
go
make
in.
it. Whereas Kylie Feuerbach, when she shoots a three, I'm like, ugh. But I love the way she defends. Her help, she's great at help defense.
Well, and I love Tegan Mullaney is not afraid to shoot the
She's
ball.
Logie Dumbelli from last year.
She is, only she's better.
But she's better, but she takes sometimes worse. I love it when she airs a three and then maybe will air another one, doesn't phase her.
And then the next time,
give me the ball.
splash.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely plays with a lot of confidence.
Yep.
And I still think she ultimately will settle into a small forward position. I think that's her best spot. And if you got a small forward who can shoot threes, that's good. And she'll make threes. I mean, she's struggling a little bit right now. Some of it is shot selection. I'd rather have her be too aggressive than not aggressive enough.
Yes,
Because
I
sometimes you can't coach that. If they're afraid, they're afraid.
No, and if you're open, shoot that
And
ball.
that's what we're bringing. Let's segue back to Cade, since all road lead back to Cade. Do you think Cade's afraid? Do you think he's afraid to go back out there because he knows he's not very good and he doesn't want to do any more damage to his legacy? Do you think that's what this is?
I think the second part of your statement, he doesn't want to do any further damage to his legacy, would lend credence to, I think I can get another year somewhere.
And how could he possibly get another year?
You got that guy in Miami, he's in his like 9th year, isn't he? I
Yeah,
mean,
but
literally.
I'm just saying, though, what if you look at Cade's story? What's he going to be?
Who's going to want him?
He played in 8 games this year.
Yeah.
Is he going to go back to last year and use last year as
yes,
his?
last 2 years.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
and then is he going to be willing to go to some place like Cal Poly or Indiana State or something like that? Because I can't imagine a Power 5 in their right mind would go after Cade McNamara.
Well, you
right
wouldn't
now.
think so, would
If
you?
you are, then I don't think Purdue would even go after him.
Well, Hudson Card's pretty good.
He's better than Cade McNamara,
yeah.
and Purdue's terrible.
Yeah.
So I just.
No, Hudson Card. I'd take Hudson Card.
But if Kirk does come out tomorrow and say, yeah, part of the reason we're in this boat is Cade came to us earlier in the week and said he's just not, then McNamara is going to be one of the most hated Hawkeye athletes ever, don't you think? If Kirk does confirm these rumors?
I don't know about hated, but most disappointing. I would for me.
I think it'll be hated for a lot of people. I mean, I don't get involved enough to where, but he's going to get destroyed. He already is getting destroyed.
I've been disappointed with Cade, except for the first touchdown pass he threw to Seth Anderson.
Where the cornerback fell down.
Yes.
Yeah, but and it still seemed hard for them. The ball was in the air forever. Anderson went to his knees to catch it, if I remember correctly.
But he did catch it.
It was almost like, oh, my God, they completed a pass. But that cornerback did fall down.
Yes, he did.
But that was the first drive of his career.
Yeah.
And it's just never.
That was probably the highlight.
It's basically been an S show.
Yes, it has.
And I still hear a lot, well, it's just too bad. Sullivan's clearly our guy. No,
he isn't.
He had 3 turnovers in the first half against UCLA. He looked terrible.
He did.
He completed 2 long passes. One was a nice throw to a wide-open wide receiver where a Power 5 quarterback should be able to make that throw in his sleep, and he did.
Uh-huh.
And the other one to Jacob Gill was a lateral pass that Gill ran 40 yards on his own. Take those 2 out, he did nothing but basically turn the ball over. He was not good against UCLA.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
No.
So they don't have a quarterback answer right now.
No, they don't.
They want you to think that it's there's some people that want you to think right now it's Stratton, but time will tell. I'm not.
Right. He did lead us to a touchdown against UCLA, but he threw for what, like 29 yards? 28?
3 of 6 for 28 yards. And like
that's not Dan Marino territory.
That's not Nate Stanley territory.
No.
Hell, that's not. That's why we got to keep this stuff in perspective. But when we see an Iowa quarterback do something that's halfway, it's like, oh my God, you see that? He just completed a 15-yard seam route. It's happened so infrequently that when it does happen, we're amazed.
Yeah. So, it'll be good to see. And by 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, we're going to know.
Yeah, because it'll be interesting to see how much Iowa tells TV. Because you remember watching TV was the first one to say that what's his Stratton had practiced. You heard TV say that he was practicing at linebacker.
Yeah.
Nobody had.
But they also called him fifth string, which I never understood.
Yeah, and then TV 2 weeks earlier said that McNamara was out because of a knee injury.
Yes.
And it was a concussion,
Yeah.
But no, I did call somebody from Iowa later, and they said, yes, they were told that he had worked out at linebacker, and you've seen it all over.
Yeah,
so, but like I said, that's beside the point now. Whether he was the linebacker who was still at best a fourth-string walk-on quarterback who they got as sort of a insurance policy to an insurance policy, and now he's supposedly better than Cade McNamara, but we're not sure why. It's just the whole thing is just a mess.
It is. It is.
And you say to yourself, if you're Kirk, do I need to keep put up with this crap? I got more than enough money that I've got a great family. I'm happily married. We got good health, grandkids. I mean, that's why I wonder if sometime after the season he may be like, I don't need this anymore. But others have told me that football is his life.
Yes.
It's his life.
He has said that.
He's basically said that too. So, so who knows?
Yep.
So if he does go, anybody on the team?
I would suggest they go outside. That's just me. And it's nothing against anyone on the staff. I just think they need to go outside. I know there's going to be a push for Wallace and LeVar Woods, and Phil Parker's going to be 61, 62 years old.
Yeah, it's a little old.
But I think Woods and Seth Wallace would definitely deserve interviews. I just think they need to get new blood outside of the Fry Ferentz tree. As great as it is, I just would like to try. I would like to see. I mean, if I was Beth Getz, and I know people are going to think I'm nuts, and I've talked to some. First two calls I would make would be Matt Campbell and Curt Cignetti.
Curt Cignetti, I don't think just signed a huge.
I don't think he would come because I don't think he would look at it as. Well, the other thing with Cignetti, he'll be 64 years old next football season too. But Tom, don't let signing huge. I mean, how often do you see that? It means nothing.
Well, I just don't think Iowa's going to offer more than $9 million.
Well, I think Iowa could get Matt Campbell at $8 or $9 million, and I've had people tell me that they say you got to at least make that call to him and offer him $8 or $9 million and see what he says, and maybe she will. I would not have a problem with Matt Campbell getting the Iowa.
I don't think Matt would come to you.
I don't, but I've had people who know him more than I do say, if that $9 million offer is made to him, I don't know what he would do. Because Iowa State's not going to pay him $9 million.
No.
Hello.
Oh, you got to let me know when someone's on.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Just like 2 seconds. It wasn't very long.
All right. Okay. Well, then you got to be patient.
Yeah. No patience.
All right, but no, Iowa could do a lot worse than Matt Campbell.
Oh,
do I think it's going to happen? No. And all the Iowa State fans will, oh God, he would never leave. You never say never on anything. And I know Iowa State beat Iowa. Iowa's still a step up to Iowa State as a job.
Okay, do you consider if next year our offense comes out and is number 61 in the nation, great running attack, good solid passing attack, would you consider Tim Lester?
Yeah, I mean, but that means Kirk back for another year.
Yes.
Yeah, if the offense is that good, yeah, I would give Lester some consideration, of course, if that happens. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know how that could happen. You're going to lose Caleb Johnson. You're going to lose 3 starters on the offensive line, 4 or 5 that have played extensively. I mean, I just don't.
We are speaking hypotheticals, Mr.
I mean,
Harty.
yeah, if that happened, yes, I definitely would consider him. But then in a sentence, going to say, okay, well, he did get fired at his alma mater as a head coach. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I think Beth needs to think outside the box a little bit. How about Coach Prime in Iowa City? Would you like Deion Sanders?
Well, he'd probably
I'm
win.
I'm kidding everyone. Oh, he'd win.
Yeah.
You imagine Deion, though, working with, like, Brad Heinrichs and NIL?
No.
You imagine Deion living in Iowa City? I can't see that either.
No.
You imagine going from Kirk Ferentz to Deion Sanders?
No. No.
Halfway through the season, he tells me I can't ask him questions anymore.
So, okay, do you think Lincoln Riley is in the hot seat yet?
Yes, I think he should be. Yeah, do I think he's going to get fired this year? I don't know, but you can be in the hot seat and be given. Maybe they'll give him one more year, but no, USC has no excuse being as bad as they are.
No.
There was people telling me that PJ Fleck's on the. I don't think PJ Fleck's on the hot
don't
seat.
either.
I mean, they could win 7, 8, 9 games this year. I'm trying to think who else hot seat.
Well, I mean, they've got 7 already, don't they?
Yeah, they've got 7 wins, I believe, right now. And what do they have left? I don't know.
No, they're 6-4.
6-4, and they still have Wisconsin, don't they?
Yes.
And is that in Minneapolis? If they play Wisconsin in Minneapolis, if they play Wisconsin and Minneapolis, I think they're going to win that game. If it's in Madison,
I kind of think it is.
If it's in Madison, I would give it to Wisconsin.
I think it's in Minneapolis.
I'm not sure who.
I don't have it here.
But if Minnesota has a chance to win 8 games, they're not going to fire P.J. Fleck.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose probably Saturday.
Is it
Penn State at Minnesota?
I think they're going to go 7-5. Now, if they go 6-6 and lose in a bowl game, I think P.J. goes into next year. Hey, we got to get some energy going, but I don't think they'd fire him.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Now, Ryan Walters, I think Ryan Walters gets one more year.
This is year 2?
This is year 2 to show any life. And that's the one where if they're 1-4 midway through next season, I bet he's fired.
I agree.
Something like that. Or maybe they will fire him in the offseason if they're seeing no momentum building. I mean, we're getting to the point where you're going to see coaches fired after 1 and 2 years. That's just the way it is. They took a chance on him. He was a coordinator. He was a coordinator who had a couple good years at Illinois, and they took a big chance on him because I'm guessing not a lot of great coaches were knocking down the door to coach at Purdue.
Yeah, Wisconsin's coach is
I think
a little bit on the hot seat.
A little bit on the hot seat. Let's see how they do. They could still finish as many as 8 or 9 wins or as few as 6 or 7 wins. I think if they end up going 7-5, 6-6, he goes into next year really having to win. Do I think he'd be fired after 2 years? No.
Well, I think Wisconsin's got a tough game this week, don't they?
I'm not sure who they play. Hell, I have enough trouble following Iowa.
Wisconsin at Nebraska.
Yeah, both those teams desperately need a win. I'm going to give it to Nebraska because it's there. I'd give Wisconsin. Wisconsin's offense is just not very good.
No, it's
not.
not.
Their quarterback is not very. They're like I said. They're just like Iowa. Their quarterback's not very good.
So Wisconsin at Nebraska, 2 5-5 teams.
What time is that one? Same time as Iowa?
No, I don't think so.
Because I'd like to watch
Wisconsin, Nebraska is 2:30.
Okay, I mean, the Iowa game will be over. I'll be close to being done with most of my writing. Because I'd like to watch the second half of that game. That'll be an interesting game.
I think so.
Yeah, that will be an interesting game.
And at the same time as Iowa, of course, is Indiana, Ohio State. I'm sorry that we can't see some of that. Well, I'll see some of it.
I mean, like when there's Iowa timeouts, I'll switch over to that.
You bet.
I mean, I would do it more if I wasn't actually covering the Iowa game, but, I got to pay close attention. I kind of keep it running, keep the stat box there, and I write as the game goes on, too, because then that's less you have to do once the game ends. Because if they lose, the only reason if they lose, people are going to be wanting to read, they're going to be wanting to read, fire everybody, and I'm not going to write that if they lose to Maryland, because I don't think Kirk deserves to be fired if they lose to Maryland.
No.
Now, if Kirk sheds, let's say this is as bad as what some people are saying about McNamara. He's pouting. He's quit. He quit on the team. If it is that bad, do you think Kirk will portray it that way on Saturday? I don't. I think he'll give Cade a little bit, unless he's just pissed. If they were counting on him, a healthy McNamara, to be their guy, and he comes in, nope, I'm done. I want to try to go somewhere else. I'm done with you guys. Do you think Kirk will give him a little bit of leeway, a little bit of respect on Saturday? Do you think he'll throw him under the bus?
I think it would probably be
imagine if that was
Cade has decided to go in another direction.
Imagine if that was Alford under those circumstances. Oh my God!
Cade has decided to go in another direction.
I'll tell you, if that is if just that enough for me is enough to rip McNamara. If he quit if he's decided with 2 games to go because things haven't gone the way he wants, that's just a pouty baby.
Oh, no, absolutely.
If that's how it turns out. But like I said, we can't say for sure. We're speculating, just like everybody else is. But that's the talk out there that he quit on the team.
Kirk might go as far as to say very disappointed in this decision. We were counting on him.
That's what I'm wondering, if he's going to, because Kirk could very easily throw Cade under the bus without really,
right.
we were shocked. We were blindsided. We were counting on him being here with us, but he told us he's decided to move on. He wants to go look. If that's the case, then I say he's fair game.
He wants to try.
This is not like a high school kid. This is a 24, 25-year-old man who made a lot of money on this program.
And he wants to try to get a 6th year elsewhere. 7th. Oh, is it 7th?
7th.
Oh,
yes. He'd be in college almost twice as long as Gale Sayers was in the NFL. And Gale Sayers is in the Hall of Fame. Think about that.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes. No, this will be his 7th year.
Wow.
Like I said, though, I just can't imagine who would go on. I like balls.
Or Elon.
Or maybe like Nevada. Since he's from Reno, maybe like Nevada or something like that.
But I think that's the level.
But I don't think
I
don't think he's even good enough to start for Nevada. Well, I've seen quarterbacks at these other schools that aren't near as good as Iowa have quarterbacks that are way better than McNamara.
Yeah.
I mean, McNamara is one of the worst quarterbacks I've seen when you combine running, decision-making, and throwing right now. I mean, and he's not very, he's 6 feet tall and he can't run.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been very accurate. His arm's not very strong. And yet for two-thirds of this season, Kirk stood there every Tuesday and said he clearly gives us our best chance to win.
Yeah, he did.
He did that going into the Northwestern game.
Yeah.
That was the 8th game where he got hurt. That week, what about Brendan? Standard role? Well, maybe, but Cade still gives us our best chance to win.
Yeah.
And now, it does make it easier to believe that he quit on the team with what Kirk is saying. Kirk is dealing with the hand that has been dealt, and he's trying to figure out the best way to make something from this. But I'll tell you what, man, if McNamara doesn't make the trip, he's not there, you got to figure out a package for Marco Leonez. Get him and run. Let him go. He's on the East Coast. Let him go and do some stuff.
Why not?
See what happens.
Yeah.
Why not?
Let them both play. And maybe they will.
And I agree with that 100%.
Let them both play.
Unless Stratton is absolutely setting the world on fire.
But he's not. I mean, it depends. Don't believe everything you hear. I mean,
I don't believe anything I
know,
hear.
but there's certain people in the media that just want that to be true because they're constantly looking for the next rainbow or treasure.
Well,
at the
I'm
and
not
I just
like
don't
that.
think this is it.
No,
but a lot of those are the same people that said Cade McNamara was a program changer and was going to lift this team to a level that I'll never forget when he went to that basketball game at Carver Hawkeye. When he made his first appearance,
there
were media people it was like the Beatles at Shea Stadium in '60. It was just, it was.
Well,
fun.
I'll tell you, as he walked through the
people were rising and playing
and clapping and cheering. Yeah, I was there.
Yep, and there were media chasing after him,
Yeah.
just like they were chasing after the big lineman from Southeast Polk when
Caden Proctor.
Remember when he was at the arena? See, I wasn't there that day. Dallas was there that day, but there were people just chasing after Proctor,
I
too.
was there, too.
So, and I think sometimes the people that build up, they get butthurt when their expectations don't get met, and they get mad. And that's just, that's part of life.
Well,
I mean, media, they're human, too.
By every measurement, Cade has been a disappointment.
It's been a massive disappointment.
Yes. Yep.
And I think a lot of people at Michigan would say, I told you so.
Certainly some. Yeah.
Yeah.
And more would say it now, I told you
Well, yeah,
so,
they have
than
hindsight.
told us at the time.
Yes, because they have hindsight.
Yes.
Hindsight is always the great equalizer.
It sure is.
Yeah, so there's plenty of hindsight. We all have hindsight. But, last year he had the quad injury as to why he struggled in the 5 games he started last year. This year he told us he was as healthy as he's ever been. And I don't believe that just because he's had 2 knee surgeries.
Couldn't run.
I think he was trying to convince himself of that, but he wasn't. He couldn't run, and it never was good.
No.
It just never was very good. First half against Iowa State was okay. Second half against Troy was okay, but other than that, it was just...
Second half against Minnesota.
But he still, he threw for, and that game was the game he threw for 108 yards, and
I know.
It was covered as if it was Tom Brady.
But he had a pretty good second half, and Iowa had a good second half offensively.
Yeah, they did, and he was a part of it, but not much. He basically, the best thing he did in the second half was handoff. He threw that one pass to the tight end, the first play of the second half that went for all those.
Beautiful, yeah.
But it was almost a lateral shovel pass.
It was
nothing really he did, but he's just never been very good.
No.
And I just think it's to the point now where if he did quit, goodbye, and no respect if that's the way you're going out.
I
None.
agree.
And I'm still using the F too, because if Kirk's using the F, we sure as hell better use the F, don't you?
For sure.
For now.
Oh no, we don't have anything definitive.
And I will say, in fairness, you said you've seen, but there's a lot of talk on social media and message boards that I've seen is they're still using wiggle room. And some of those people that are saying it for sure, Tom, they're doing that. Don't you think they're doing it for attention, dramatic effect?
Of course.
And that's just how it is.
Absolutely.
But we'll see. Like I said, at this stage, nothing would surprise me. I think it'd be funny if they came out and Derek Weisskopf, the kid from Williamsburg, were starting at quarterback. He played quarterback for Williamsburg last year. At this stage, you hope the best thing the quarterback has to do tomorrow is hand off to the 3 running backs. Because if they can run for 220 yards and throw for 50, they might win.
It's just been so frustrating as a fan, just praying that we get a quarterback that pushes all the right buttons, can throw, can run, can escape a rush, and can hand off the ball adequately, and we just haven't had.
We haven't had that in ages.
No,
I mean, and Spencer Petras doesn't look that bad. Had an interesting thing said to me yesterday, and I'm not going to say who said it, but they know more about football than 99.9% of the idiots on social media who attack my statement. He's brought something up to me, and I had not. He says Iowa quarterbacks spend too much time with their back to the defense, and I'm like, what do you mean? Drop backs and stuff. And he goes, and if you watch Iowa State, Rocco Beck hardly ever turns his back. He gets the ball in the shotgun, staring straight at the defense. Iowa quarterbacks spend valuable seconds with their back, adjusting, taking back.
Where half the defense is not in their
and
line of sight.
And I hadn't thought about that. It's interesting.
That is
and then, of
interesting.
course, that's an idiotic statement. Hayden was 45 years ago, people. The game has changed. The 7-step drop back with Chuck Long and Chuck Hartley, those days are gone.
Yes, definitely.
You can't compare what Hayden did to what's going on now.
Hello.
Yeah, that Weisskopf, he was also a 40-plus yard punter, and he came in to win the state championship playing quarterback.
Yeah.
After playing defense.
I was sort of kidding.
Either way, but he was dunking the ball when he was in the 6th grade.
Well, hell, maybe he should be down in Kansas City.
Yeah.
No, he's a good athlete.
He high jumped about 6'9".
Yeah, no, he's a
6'10".
good athlete. He's a good athlete. Very good.
Yeah, is he redshirted? Did he
Yes.
play at all early?
I'm not sure if he got in, but if he did, it would be 4 or fewer games.
Less than,
redshirt.
yeah.
He's one of those guys that's going to develop probably into a linebacker of some sort. But I think I think he could get
how
big.
they recruited him.
I think he could be big enough to play tight end if they wanted him to. He's that type of athlete.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. All righty.
All right, thanks.
guys
Thank you.
mentioned his name, and I talked to Don when your show started. I said, they had to throw Weisskopf in there. I said, hell, he won the state championship, not playing quarterback his whole high school career.
Yeah, no, I was joking because no offense to big jump from 3A in Iowa to Big Ten
For
football.
sure.
But I get your point.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Yep.
Hey, thank you.
You bet. Good show.
Yep.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is all right. Here's one. Do you think they're going to have a really good quarterback, a good, really proven Power 5 quarterback on their roster next year?
Power 5 proven?
Yeah. FBS, just
no.
I don't either.
But I think we might be
I think they're going to have another quarterback.
Yes.
But I think it's going to be a crapshoot. I think it's going to be, okay, let's see what happens.
I think, but it'd be more of a level, Western Michigan.
Joey Labus comes back.
Well, we'd love to have Spencer this year, wouldn't we?
Well, yes, but Spencer wouldn't be having those stats because he runs
No.
in a completely different.
No, he
his
sure
wide
would.
receivers actually get open at Utah State.
Yes, but he's played much better than any
He has.
quarterback we've had.
He's averaging 26 completions a game. At Iowa, he'd go a month without 20.
And he's have plenty of turnovers.
Yeah, and they're not winning, but at least he's having some good statistical performances. And I'm guessing he probably misses Iowa City in some ways, but I'm guessing he doesn't miss it in some ways.
I'm guessing you're
He
right.
was here for 5 hard years.
Yep.
He really was.
And he got a lot of abuse for things that weren't his fault.
He did, and we're seeing that now.
Yes, we sure are.
We are seeing that right now. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And I just saw Primetime got the 5-star quarterback out of Georgia, decommitted from USC.
No.
Lewis, I believe, is his name, number 1 quarterback. And, yeah, Deion, unless he goes somewhere else, I mean, Colorado is going to be good with Deion Sanders as their head coach. They just are.
Well, it took him 2 years, and they're in the college football playoff discussions.
They are.
So,
They're
yeah.
8-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I'd sure love to watch them play Iowa State in the Big 12. That would be a fun game to watch. Because, I know you hate Iowa State. Iowa State is a fun team. They play a fun brand.
Oh, no question.
They play a fun brand of football.
No doubt.
I find myself watching, I'm like, man, that was a neat play. And then with Iowa, unless it's Caleb Johnson going for long runs or Jacob Gill figuring out a way to get open, there's
not that much going on.
There's not much going on.
No, there isn't.
So, but there is a lot going on right now. We'll have a lot to talk about tomorrow morning. We'll have the game. We'll have the Iowa men to talk about.
Okay, now there's one other rumor out there that has been talked about seriously. I don't know if you can corroborate or, I've heard that, but I don't believe it, whatever, that there are 1 or 2 defensive players that are healthy that are not going to make the trip to Maryland.
That are healthy?
That are not going to
I've heard that there was some players that might not make the trip, that there was rumors, but I don't know if I heard that just because people are seeing it on social media. But the fact that they're healthy, I don't...
Meaning that they're opting out.
They're opting out for NFL?
Yes.
Okay, and I look at that, And I'm saying, okay, let's go down the list. Jamari Harris showed up Tuesday at interviews, and so did Nick Jackson. They wouldn't do that if they were opting out.
You wouldn't think so.
And I'm not knocking Nick Jackson, but I'm guessing Nick Jackson's not big enough to play in the NFL. There's a reason he's here for 6 years.
Probably not.
Jamari Harris, I think, has a chance to play in the NFL. I'm not convinced Jay Higgins is big enough to play in the NFL. He wasn't there Tuesday, but he's also been injured. I mean, as far as NFL prospects go, for people that would sit out, I mean...
I'm not saying there's anything...
Well, no, I'm just going down the list of...
Yeah.
I mean, there's... Cooper DeJean would have made sense. He was a sure... Yeah. I don't see any surefire high in a... Y.A. Black, to me, looks like he might be their best NFL prospect right now at this giving moment. Deontay Craig, I don't think he has had a great senior year. I don't think Ethan Hurkett's NFL. I think they're going to get chances. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're surefire to where they would take such a statement like that. Y.A. Black, I think, has made some money this year. He's a good defensive lineman. He's a big interior run stuffer.
He's been good.
But, yeah, that would only surprise me just because I don't think they have anyone of Cooper. And what's funny is, remember, Cooper's a lock? Cooper didn't go in the first round.
No, he didn't.
You know, all these
boy, he's sure panning out.
He sure is. He probably should have gone in the first round. He still made a lot of money, but... I mean, God, let's say McNamara doesn't. I mean, the way we're making it sound like the only one that's going to be making the trip is Kirk and Jackson Stratton.
Well, I know Jay Higgins' dad is flying to Maryland, so he'll probably
says that Jay's playing.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also got a phone call here. Hello. Hello.
Hey.
You can talk if you like. Apparently not. Okay.
Are they still on the?
They are, but they're not talking.
Hello.
Got rid of them.
Yeah.
We have no time for this.
No.
You think that would have been? You think that was going to be a good question?
No.
You know what I did when I went home? Were you just singing "Got No Time" by the Guess Who? I went home and cranked "Undone" after Wednesday's show just because I needed some help. I needed some cleansing. And when I turned on Captain, he was still ripping. He was still talking about why they don't play Undone. He couldn't let it go.
Yeah,
he could not let it go.
Now, I remember listening to "No Time" on my way to my first real job
I like that song.
As a barback at the Highlander.
Is that Burton Cummings singing that?
Yeah.
He has a hell of a voice, doesn't he?
I love his voice.
Definitely does.
Is he
Always
still alive?
loved his voice. Oh, yeah.
Isn't he mean?
He's a little, yeah.
I think a little cantankerous.
Yeah.
Okay. So many of them are.
A little hard to get along with as a bandmate.
But I saw a video of him and just an acoustic guitarist from Guess Who. It was just him and Burton Cummings. They did an acoustic version of Undone, and it was incredible. Just the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible. He is very talented.
Yes, he is.
But so many of them, the more talented they are, it seems like the more difficult they can be.
They can be.
But that's
true.
That's where they get their creative juices, from their conflict.
Whatever.
That's what we're told, from their conflict.
Well,
Sure.
he never went so far as to insist they be called Burton Cummings and the Guess Who. That's always the kiss of death when
That's too
band is
long.
all right, and then all of a sudden
Dennis Yost and the Classics 4
right,
is
exactly.
typical.
Right, exactly.
Huey Lewis in the News.
Well, it was
Huey
always
was good, though.
It was always Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah, but
it was never just the news.
But what if they were just the news?
It was the Mindbenders forever, and then it became
Yeah.
Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders. Now we're going back a ways.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
Book of Love, or The Game of Love.
The game of love, love.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
La 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 la.
I've heard that. And I heard Deacon Blues driving in here, one of my favorite songs.
Great song.
What was that? Did Mace request that?
Mace called up and specifically
I know he
said,
loves. He told me
I
he
know
loves
my
Deacon.
best friend Pat is driving in. Play
Deacon Blues
Play Deacon Blues.
because I live to make Pat happy is what I heard Mace say. But no, I love Deacon Blues.
I remember too.
Mace has been busy. He will be back available for us next week.
So I saw we got a little snow. I woke up and there was snow on the roofs of the houses across the street, but now it's gone.
Okay, now, Mr. Hunter, we are listed as not having a Suterman show tomorrow.
Oh, that might have just been a mistake.
Because there's no reason for us not to have one, is there?
No, I mean, I get home in plenty of time for the
absolutely.
game. Captain's not here tomorrow, though. Isn't he not back until Monday?
Yep. Yeah, he's back Monday. His family's in town, and he's enjoying time with them. So
there you go.
All right.
Okay, you guys doing some police reports?
We are.
Okay, that Tommy Lang and Jim coming up with police reports. Hawkfanatic.com. Check it out. It's
Football
free.
fans, this is Bill Leixenring of the Oxyoke Inn. We